All right, welcome back for Unit 2, Day 5. We're going to go through order of operations from last year. It should be something that's not new to you, but something hopefully is familiar from last year. Oopsie, 1 second. Sorry, I'm not sure what this is. Get out of here. Get off my screen. There we go. All right. So if we're talking about order of operations, there's 4 steps, and you guys might recall the acronym PEMDAS. We're a little bit different, maybe, or maybe you did this. It's GEMDAS for us, and it goes in this order. The first step is the G for grouping symbols. Grouping symbols, and when we're talking about grouping symbols, the big ones are like parentheses, brackets, square root signs. We got absolute value bars. I'm going to teach you guys how to deal with those in your calculator in a little bit. Those are the big ones that we'll see. Step 2 would be to do all the exponents. So after you get rid of all of the grouping symbols, you do all the exponents. So that's when something is raised to a power. So this power is called an exponent. So we get rid of those next in our steps. Then step 3 is we multiply or divide. And there's a certain order that we do this in. It's always from left to right. And then the same thing with the last two is add and subtract. That's our last step. And that's always from left to right too. So when we go through these are our 4 steps, and we use this acronym. Whoops. GEMDAS. So this is step 1, step 2, step 3 for both of these, and then step 4 for both of these, and those are always left to right. So if we go through these by hand for the first 4, then we'll do it by calculator. You'll be able to see that we'll get the same exact answer. So this first one, if we take a look, it's 12 plus 15 divided by 3 minus 6 times 4. So if we talk about this word GEMDAS, there's a G to begin that stands for my grouping symbols. I don't see any grouping symbols, so I continue to move on. The E stands for exponents. I don't see any exponents as well, so I continue to move on. The next one's multiply, divide. I do see some multiplication and division. You're supposed to go from left to right, so from over here and move that way, always. So the first one that I see is this division one. So the 12 plus, we drop down, we didn't do anything to it. This 15 divided by 3 is the first thing that we do, according to our order of operations. So it's a 5. And then we have minus 6 times 4. If I continue on with my order of operations, I'm still in my MD, my multiplication division from left to right, because I see one right here. So I'm going to do that next. I drop down my 12 plus 5 because I didn't do anything with that yet. There's still a minus sign there. 6 times 4 is 24. If I continue on through with my order of operations, now I'm on my AS part of it. That's the addition subtraction. So now we have addition first if we're moving from left to right. So we have this addition right there. So we have 17 minus 24. 17 minus 24, I believe, is negative 7 in the end. That would be our answer. If we use our calculator later, we should get negative 7 for the first one. So hopefully you're writing this down and we can check that. The next one here, if we take a look for number 3, we have grouping symbols. We have these parentheses. So that means that we're supposed to do the parentheses first. So 11 minus 5 in our calculator gives us 6. And then we can get rid of the parentheses once we do what's inside of them. This minus 4 is multiplied by something when it's right next to parentheses. That means always multiplication. So 3 times 2 is 5. If we go to GEMDAS, we just did our G. So my E would be my exponents. So 6 times 6 in my calculator would be 36. So that's the next thing that we do. And then according to my order of operations, we skip that minus sign because we're supposed to do multiplication division next. And I see a multiplication right here. So that's my next step. So now that'd be 36 minus, there's a minus sign there, 20. 36 minus 20 would be 16 in the end. And you're done. So that would be our answer when we do this in our calculator later. So we have -7 and we have 16. I'm going to write that down too, make sure. All right, so for 2 and 4, if we do it by hand, our order of operations tells us to do the grouping symbols first. So 7 plus 2 is what I'll do first. That means multiplication when it's right next to it. So that's 8. We bring the rest down. If we do my order of operations, exponent should be next, but I don't see any. So that means I can move on to my multiply divide. And I see this -2 times 8 shows up first. So that's what I'm going to do first. That'd be -16. My next step, I see a division from left to right. So I'm going to do that next. So it'd be -16 with a minus, then 20 divided by 4 is 5. And then my last step is to do my addition subtraction. And if I subtract these, -16 minus 5 in my calculator, I get -21. So I'll write that down. 21. And the last one, all of this is under the square root, so I'm going to do the square root last. So inside of this, I'm going to follow my order of operations. So inside this whole square root is a 4 squared plus a 38 plus minus I see a parenthesis. So we're going to do that first according to our order of operations. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Continually moving on with my order of operations, I see 4 squared, so that's 16. And then continue on. I don't see any multiplication division, so I skip that step and I go on to my addition subtraction from left to right. So 16 plus 38 would be the first thing we hit from left to right. That's 54. And then 54 minus 5 would be 49. And in my calculator, if I do the square root of 49, I get 7. So those are the answers we should get when we use our calculator. So let me flip over to that now. Let's see what we get. So make sure you get out you have a graphing calculator, you're either TI 83 or 84, hopefully one or the other. And let's get that out now. Zoom. Zoom. Where's the calculator? There it is. All right. Okay, let me make sure this is still recording. Something went wrong. Uh-oh. Let's see here.